you might just go back to your life and just continue on. And I'm just like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be able to make an impact and continue to do something for the community.
Welcome to Expanding Wallet, home for empowerment. We inspire greatness and we help you learn skills for creating generational wealth. My name is Andrew Clarke and I'm the CEO and founder of Expanding Wallet. When I was 15 years old, not only did I start studying about how to manage and invest money, but I also started reading autobiographies of great leaders who helped create change in the world. And what I found is that many of the greatest leaders in the world were never elected. Instead, they chose to rise to support great causes. And that's part of why I started Expanding Wallet, because I believe that we need more great leaders like these in our communities and in the world. And today's guest is one of those leaders, in my opinion. And today you're going to hear her story and why she started her nonprofit business, and also understand how to get started with a nonprofit business. And let me tell you a little bit of background about her. She has a degree in economics, is a commercial property manager, a real estate agent, and the owner of her nonprofit, That's Their Dream. It's my great honor to introduce you to Sydney Otundo. How you doing today, Sydney?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. I am happy to have you on. So give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah, like as you mentioned, so I am a property manager. I work for commercial real estate properties. I manage them doing the accounting, leasing, stuff along those lines. And then I also do real estate part time. So I help people buy their residential homes. And it's just something that just makes me happy to see people get ownership to their own home. And then I also have a nonprofit called That's Their Dream, where I teach about financial literacy.
Perfect. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. What actually made you want to start That's Their Dream?
Yeah, so last year in June, just with everything going on in the world, just like with George Floyd, it was just like I'm like, there's something that I could be doing for the community, just other than protesting and just being out there, because once that ends, it's like you go back to normal. Or you might just go back to your life and just continue on. And I'm just like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be able to make an impact and continue to do something for the community. So I'm like, what what can I do, or what is there something that I have knowledge on, or something I can educate others on? What can I impact others? So I was just like, oh my gosh, I can talk to people about financial literacy, because that's something that I like to educate myself on, and also conversations I like to have with others. So yeah, just by having this conversation with someone, I was like, that's their dream. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start that. And I'm like, I'm going to start with a podcast. I'm going to be having people come on and just share their stories about entrepreneurship, or, their journey with saving or money management, or just paying off debt. And then it just continued to grow. And I just thought of many ideas and different aspects that I can do with that surgery.
Yeah, I love it. That's definitely similar to part of what inspired me as well. Just being able to share my own knowledge and background with investing and finances. So that's really great. And then what specifically do you do? Because I know you hold some events as well. So it's besides just the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do the podcast, and then I also do youth programs. So I work with different schools and youth organizations, and I do like a 6 to 8 week program where I teach about like entrepreneurship, taxes, money management, credit, stuff along those lines. And I usually, teach for an hour or so, depending on what the organization or school wants me to do. And so I've been doing that. And then I also do sip and tip events where that's geared towards the adults. And I always wanted to do something where I hit all different age groups. So sip and tip was one of those ways to reach like the older adults. I mean, like 21 and older. So I do events where we meet monthly at a restaurant and just play like a game and add a financial twist to it. So we've done like bingo, trivia, Jeopardy, and this month we're going to be having Wheel of Fortune. So it's just a fun way to network, collaborate, and then also learn without having to do a presentation for adults. Because sometimes with adults, they're like, I don't want to sit down and listen to a presentation and stuff like that. So I had to find like a fun, interactive way to engage them and have them come out.
Yeah, I love it. Gamification and education, right? So
Yeah.
combine the two. Um, So let's talk about now your business structure. It's a nonprofit,
Hmm.
and I'm really curious because I don't really know a ton about nonprofits myself. So I guess my first question is, what made you decide to go the nonprofit route?
Yeah, so that was something I really struggled on. I was like, do I go the for-profit route or do I go like the nonprofit route? And I was like going back and forth, but I'm just like, hey, Sydney, let's just at least start on something and let's like start doing what you want to do. And then from there, maybe it'll come to you exactly what direction you want to go. So I was like pretty much just starting, working with schools, reaching out to them. And then as I was doing that, I'm just like, I don't want to be asking schools or different people for money. This is something that I have a passion for. So it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, at this moment, I think I'm going to just go the for profit route. And that's what made me just like, just sitting there and just starting and just reflecting and thinking was what made me just go that route. And then I just started reading books about starting a nonprofit business. So I was going to the library a lot. I was going to the bookstore. I was talking to different nonprofit leaders and founders and stuff just on how they started. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much. It became like really overwhelming. And so I'm like, okay, I don't want that to stop me from what I want to do. So I found out about Propel Nonprofits. So they pretty much are a 501c3 organization, and then they take on different um, organizations and help you and guide you throughout, the steps to be on your own to be your own nonprofit. So that is the route that I took.
Okay. And so how do they, I guess, how do they help you? They kind of walk you through the steps, or is there something else that they do?
Yeah, so pretty much you need to at least like have your mission, your values, stuff like that, at least like lined up, what you want to do. Maybe at least start on your mission and start working on that. And then you do the application process. It's 2 steps, and then from there, once they accept you, they help you like with training. So they help you with building, finding board members, or they help
Hmm.
you with like learning about taxes. They help you with learning about um just accounting and stuff like that for your nonprofit. So there's different workshops that they provide for you so that you can learn all this stuff. So then when you are on your own, you already have this information, and as well they do take care of this stuff for you and teach you at the same time. So it's like a help for you, so you're not messing up with like the different legal stuff that you need to do. Like they take care of that for you, but then also teach you by providing these workshops. And then
Oh,
also
wow.
you get like, yeah, and then you also get like their tax benefits, so you're able to apply for different grants and scholarships that are out there to help fund your organization.
Okay. And so are you like underneath them, or is you still kind of your own entity, your nonprofit entity, and they support you? And does it cost anything? I'm asking a lot now.
No, no, you're totally fine. So yeah, you are kind of like underneath them since they're the 501c3, they're the nonprofit, and then you're under them since you are not a nonprofit yet, but they're guiding you. So pretty much you're under them, and then you can just use their tax benefits, or use their, yeah, pretty much, yeah, you use their tax status to apply for
Mhm.
grants and stuff like that. And then just like, is there a fee or anything? There is a fee to be in there. They usually, I think it's about maybe $100 for the application, and then from there on, it's like a $38 annual fee that you have to pay. And then
Okay.
from there, once you get like grants and like you get donations coming in, they do take a fee from there as well, since they are helping you with the accounting and everything like that. So they're keeping track of your QuickBooks and all of that. So that's why they do charge or take a fee from what you receive.
Okay. And I figure with your type of business, especially since you're working with schools, I'm betting it's easier for them to allow a nonprofit to come in than like a for-profit company because, like you said, you wouldn't have to depend on them paying you. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, I mean, it is easier as being nonprofit working with the schools, because with schools they also have stuff that's budgeted for
So,
certain different categories. So it's just like, okay, do they have the funding to take on a for-profit business? So they're more open to working with someone who is a nonprofit. So
exactly.
that's something I've just found easier, because that is a question they do always ask: Do you cost? How much do you cost? Blah blah blah. And then like they might get taken back when you do start asking for that. Like, okay, maybe that's something we can just do with our school ourselves and organize something amongst our teachers and stuff to get that program started. Instead, if I'm a I mean a nonprofit, then they're like more open to listening to me and hearing me out and having me work with the school.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you said they help you kind of with the application processes for grants and funding. So would you say that it is hard to get funding, or how? I guess how does that part kind of work? If you can dive a little deeper into that part.
Well, yeah, so it can be a little hard. So it's pretty much keeping track of different dates and stuff like that. Also, finding different organizations or businesses that believe in your mission and that your mission aligns with their mission, their company mission as well. So that's something that you have to look into. Sometimes when I reach out to different businesses, they might be like, hey, like we're more focused on tech or we're more focused on this, you know? So it's being able to find a organization or finding a business that aligns with you. So sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. Um, but once you start going and you're keeping track and you're being on top of it and you find someone that can at least help you with writing these grants, it becomes a little bit easier. And then also, um, I don't have a grant writer that I work with, but I do have people on my team who are very good at writing and stuff. So I try to
Mm,
use them to help me with the grant applications and also just myself. And also, I do crowdfunding as well to get
mm.
funding. So, reaching out to people, just telling them my mission, seeing if they believe in me and want to be able to donate to what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned, keeping track of dates. So I'm assuming then you're probably having to, on a regular basis or somewhat regular basis, continue to keep applying. Do you have funding that is maybe from like a sponsor or someone that's like one where you don't have to necessarily continue to apply? Maybe they supply you funding every month or every quarter.
Not yet, but that's what I'm hoping to be able to have that. That would be amazing to get that, just continue
Mhm.
funding where I don't have to keep reaching out and, putting in an application and stuff. So,
Yeah, because I just figured that part, would be probably the biggest hurdle to get over. But hopefully, as you continue to grow your business and you get more traction, it'll probably be more attractive that way. And I was also just thinking about I mean, I don't know how it works with nonprofits, but I know one of the people I interviewed, a friend of mine who has a TikTok channel. He has a lot of sponsorship deals. Now, he has a massive following on TikTok, 3 million people. Is sponsorship in that sense a possibility where maybe it's through like your social media and then combining your message?
yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people who are taking advantage of like TikTok and just like doing reels and stuff like that. And then from there, they get a lot of people who are paying attention to them and what they're doing. And then from there, get sponsorships. I haven't got into that yet. That's something that I'm trying to work on. I'm like, TikTok seems so complicated. I get like scared and overwhelmed, but it's like something that I'm like, Sydney, you need to sit down for like a little bit and just learn how to do a TikTok, or not even for that's their dream, but just like a fun TikTok. And then from there, maybe I'll be able to, you know, learn and catch on. But to me, I'm like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you his interview. He kind of like breaks it down and says like the formula that he uses for making his videos. But the other thing, and in that interview, he actually says the same thing to me. I need to be making more videos on TikTok. But
Hmm.
he's a content creator, and I think like the big difference is like having a business, having a nonprofit, and then on top of that, you have your other things you're involved in. So it's just very difficult sometimes to find the time to make that many videos. He was
Hmm.
doing about 3 to 4 videos a day. So
Oh, wow.
um,
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah, I'm like it. These days, like if I get a video out a week, I'm pretty happy. But working up to something like that or having a goal, that's great. But I think there's also the mental barrier too, and like, hey, you want it to be perfect because you're releasing this out in the world, but sometimes good enough is okay as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like that. And then, so your route then, this is what's called, is it a fiscal sponsorship? Is that right?
Yep. So it's a fiscal sponsorship. So they just, help you and guide you throughout the process to be your own nonprofit.
Perfect. And then, I'm assuming like just walk through the steps of like working with them or getting involved. Is it just applying, or is it more complicated than that?
No, so you do an info session that's like about an hour, and pretty much like during that session, like there's different organizations that are on there that also want to be part of this fiscal sponsorship. They introduce themselves, and then from there they explain how this whole process works with applying, and from there then you apply for to be in the fiscal sponsorship, and then they review it, and then if they want to move forward with you, you do the second application, and then they have like a whole like team that looks over that second application and sees like, hey, is this people or a group or organization that we want to take on it? Do we believe in what they're going to do? We believe that they're going to continue working hard and grow, and be able to move forward and gain something from being under this fiscal sponsor? So yeah, pretty much, yeah, the info session, two-step application or two-part application, and then yeah, just paying that application fee and then the annual fee.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for providing those steps. And then how now that you've got your business, how did you start to get the word out? Was it all kind of like you picking up the phone and calling people, social media? How can you break that down?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Like for the podcast, I was just reaching out to people that I just have seen on social media doing things out there. So I'll just reach out to them and be like, "Hey, like, oh my gosh, you're doing so amazing. I love that you started this business and everything like that. I've been following you, and I just want you to be on my podcast to spread the word." And so I started with that, and then like with the youth programs, I just started reaching out to old teachers of mine and being like, hey, this is something that I want to start. How can you help me, or who should I talk to get into the schools? So I started doing that, and my old teacher from high school was able to help me out, and I was able to work with my high school, and be able to do the youth programs there. And then I just started just meeting new people, or just like friends of mine will be like, hey, I work in the school, I have a teacher that teaches about finance, maybe you can work with them. Or I just would reach out to also youth organizations and say like, hey, like, do you want to add a financial literacy youth program onto your organization? And just like that, just reaching out, having these connections as well helped a lot.
Yeah, I love it. So definitely keep those networks connections in mind. I think that's
Mhm.
great. Uh, yeah, it's pretty much how I started with Expanding Wallet as well, just tapping into my network to start out doing workshops. And then let me just see where I am. The last thing I wanted to know, and this probably falls in line, but what advice do you have for someone who's maybe starting or thinking about starting a nonprofit?
Yeah, advice that I would give is just start. Like, just start writing down stuff. Like, I would always write in my notebook. Like, I went and bought a notebook just specifically for That's Their Dream. I'm just like, these are all the ideas that I have. Like, and I just started breaking them down. Like, at first, I started writing down all the ideas on one page. And then from those ideas, I'd write down specifically like a breakdown of exactly how can I start this, Like with the youth programs. Okay, what is my mission? What am I trying to do? What is my vision? How am I going to keep track of, are the students gaining anything from this? What are topics that I'm going to do? Am I going to have presenters and stuff like that? So I just think like, advice I would give is just start writing down stuff. And then from there, look at your network, see who can help you. Like, even if you're like stuck, you're like, I don't even know where to go from here, maybe there's people that you might know that are like on Facebook and stuff like that that might be able to help you through this process or whatever business that you're trying to do. If you're trying to open up a restaurant, maybe you have a friend on Facebook that's a restaurant owner. Maybe reach out to them and be like, hey, like, this is my idea. This is what I want to do, but I'm just stuck. I don't know where else to go. Um, that's what I would do. Just reaching out for help, and then also just even building a team once you think that you're ready to do that. Or maybe sometimes it's just very overwhelming. You do want to get started and stuff like that, but it's just like there's so much going on. You're like, I don't know. I need help with the marketing part of it, or I need help with, um, I don't know, the finance part of it. Just try to build that team. See people who believe in what you're trying to do, and just want to help you work and make sure that your dream comes true. So yeah.
Great advice. I was literally like Just like, yes, in my head, I'm like, everything you're saying. I actually am probably going to have to make a couple videos just on like those subjects because when you talked about the brainstorming and taking notes, before I started Expanding Wallet, I probably had like, I don't know, 10 to 20 files on just ideas and things I was planning on doing. And then networking. This is something that I get asked about a lot is like, how do I find people? How do I network? And so that's great advice. And then the last thing you said, the team part, so crucial because especially in the beginning, I think it is really hard to give up some of that responsibility. But in order to grow and to get bigger and to scale, you are going to have to eventually give up some of the responsibilities and find a team and find people that you trust. So I think thinking about that up front and from the beginning is a great strategy actually. And not everything, right? Not everything uh, people are going to charge you for. If they really fall behind or if they're really behind your mission and your vision, a lot of times just you asking, they may help you out with something for free.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask. Like, just ask, and sometimes you're not even a pro at all these things. Like, you can't be a pro at marketing and finance and all these other things that it takes to start a business or a nonprofit. So just ask. Like, sometimes it's like I was like scared at first to ask for help. I'm like, I'll just do it all by myself, but it became so overwhelming and so hard, and also you just don't want to burn out as well. So it's also just taking that into consideration, like, if I keep taking on all these tasks, what's going to happen next? Everything's just going to come crashing down, or my business might fail. And you don't want your business to fail. Obviously, you want to start it and continue it and for it to grow. So, yeah, just don't be afraid to ask for help at all. Because some people, if they really believe in what you're trying to do, they will do it for free or maybe charge you a little bit less. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And I don't know, like, you probably haven't seen my interviews yet, but the people that have watched my interviews, there's like something key that you keep hearing come up. And you just kind of touched on it when you said you want to your business to keep going and grow. But it's this thing about longevity. And, things don't happen like you see in those ads maybe on social media about quick money and this and how things will
Mhm.
grow quick. And I say that because there's a lot of development that you have to go through. And so, like, longevity is really, really important when you get into a business. And so that's why it's really key to tap into as many of your resources as possible.
Yes, I totally agree. For sure.
Yeah. So, let's just talk real quick. So, the other side of your business, for those who are interested in, possibly working with you on the real estate side, where do you specifically work as far as real estate wise go?
Are you talking more in area or like exactly what I help out in real estate?
Well, from like a client perspective, because that's your other business that you do.
Yeah, so I do help with people who are just trying to find just their home, maybe a starter home, or maybe they want to upsize or get a bigger home and stuff like that. So that's something I do help with. And then I also do help a lot of people, investors who want to buy a rental property. So those are two things that I mainly focus on. And I work pretty much all over the Twin Cities, from Blaine all the way down to Prior Lake. So
Okay.
yeah.
And Twin Cities is in Minnesota for those people
Oh,
who
yep, yep,
don't know.
Minnesota. Yep.
Yeah, this is going on YouTube, so it's going to be a wide range of people watching.
Yes.
And then how can people connect with you? If someone out there wants to help and sponsor or provide a grant, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. So I have my Instagram, That's Their Dream. So if you want to reach out to me, learn more about my organization, or even, donate, just hit me up on there. And then I also have my Instagram for real estate called Realtor Sydney Otundo. So that's another way that you can get in contact with me.
Okay, perfect. And then one thing I had in my head to ask you, it wasn't in my notes, but specifically, what age group do you work with for the educational program with the schools?
Yeah, so I focus more on high school age, so from 9th to 12th grade.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. And then lastly, before we end the interview, I actually want to give you something. So I actually want to give you an Expanding Wallet T-shirt, just as
Oh,
a
wow.
yeah, just as a token of my appreciation. And if you can't read it, it says "Learn, Believe, Grow." these are really some keys to success that have helped me in my life. So put it on the shirt, because I think that, we have the ability to transform our lives, but it's where we focus our mind and our attention and our time. So once again, thank you so much for sharing with the Expanding Wallet community today. I really appreciate having you on.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I appreciate the t-shirt. I'm excited to wear it.
Exactly. Appreciate it. All right. Well, remember to learn all that you can, believe in yourself, and take actions that allow you to grow.